Happy midweek, everyone, and welcome to a basketball update here. I'm Jaydon Hart with My Falcon Radio, giving you a look at what to expect really for the Lone Star Conference coming up here on Friday as the UTPB Falcons take on Midwestern State at 2:30 at the Dr. Pepper Arena in Frisco, Texas. And right now the Falcons are coming off two really tough losses to Tarleton State, where they got dominated in the second half of a basketball game that should have been closer than what it was. They were outscored 59-19 in the second half, and you had guys getting in foul trouble, and there was really nothing that the team could do past that point. And Tarleton ended up defeating them that game 78-54, and you had the opportunity still with West Texas A&M and UTPB being tied going into that game. There was still a chance, though, for the Falcons to win the Lone Star Conference Championship, regular season championship that is, outright. And that would have been if West Texas A&M, which lost their game to Texas A&M Commerce on Thursday night also, lost on Saturday to Tarleton. So the Falcons needed to win. And with that being said, they did not win against Texas A&M Commerce. And got the stats right here from that game. And it was definitely one of the more lopsided victories that a team has had against UTPB this season. A&M Commerce finished with 85 points, and the Falcons scored just 56. And foul trouble, there were a few texts from players on the Falcons, and it was definitely not a good showing from the team. But going forward, your record is 0-0, and I guess I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. But to finish up the point, West Texas A&M, they go on to win against Tarleton in a pretty close basketball game. And you've got West Texas A&M as the regular season champions. And so they will be the 1 seed going into the Lone Star Conference tournament. And I have the other seedings. UTPB is the 2nd seed. Coin flip was done for seeds 3 and 4 between Tarleton and Texas A&M Commerce, because they literally had identical records. They both finished, I believe, with I think it was 12-6 in conference, yeah. So finishing 12-6 in conference, and they lost to the exact same teams the same amount of times. So there wasn't any sort of tiebreaker scenario other than doing a coin flip, and Tarleton actually came out in the advantage on that coin flip. And so they're the 3. Texas A&M Commerce will be the 4th seed. Angelo State is the 5th seed. Number 7, or the 6th seed is Cameron, and the 7th seed is Midwestern State, and the final team to make the Lone Star Conference tournament is Eastern New Mexico. And so the field of 8 is set for Frisco, Texas this weekend, and should expect some good basketball. And like I was going on to say, this at this point in the season, you have to look at your record as being 0-0. It's a fresh start, and especially the guys on the UTPB Falcons, they have played this season with the mentality of them winning a national championship. And of course they wanted to repeat as Lone Star Conference regular season champions, but that wasn't the case, and that isn't the case, and you have to move on. And right now, with the Falcons sitting with an opportunity to win the Lone Star Conference tournament, which they did last season, you can just, it's March basketball, and it's time to move forward. And so 0-0 record, and we'll see if the Falcons can do anything against Midwestern State, who they will be playing on Friday at 2:30. And just to kind of give you a background, they've beaten Midwestern State twice this season. I don't see Midwestern State being a problem for the Falcons, and they should get past a team. It is hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season, no matter what level of basketball you're playing. I mean, once you've seen a team for the 3rd time, and you know what they're going to do, you know who their best players are. I mean, you go through the whole scouting report, obviously, but you've gotten a good you became very familiar with players on that basketball team. So it'll be interesting to see how the Falcons come out and play that game. I do think that they should handily beat Midwestern State, and waiting for them is most likely going to be Tarleton, who I think right now, going into the Lone Star Conference, might be the hottest team in the conference. You look at the back half of their schedule and the way that they finished, and the way that they've competed against top teams in the conference at the back half of their schedule, and beating us or UTPB on Thursday night, and then beating West Texas, or nearly beating West Texas A&M. They beat West Texas A&M earlier on in the season, and that was a huge win for them. Kind of got them started on this hot streak that they've been on. Like I said, barely lost to West Texas A&M. They've beaten Texas A&M Commerce, and the talent that they have on the roster. If you look at the freshman center Josh Hawley, he is something to watch. He is very. He looks like he could be playing Division I basketball somewhere, and he is definitely a threat to the Falcons, a team that leads the Lone Star Conference in offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding. I believe they're third in the nation, or third in D2 in defense or in rebounding, and I think they're the 8th team overall in just all of the NCAA in rebounding. So that's one of the Falcons' strong suit. And in that game, just go back and look at that really quick. Give you a quick stat from that basketball game on Thursday night against Tarleton. One of the biggest things for the Falcons was the inability to beat Tarleton at a game that they've been able to do all season long, and that's score points in the paint. Tarleton outscored the Falcons 36-26 in the paint, and they were also pretty similar in rebounding. They were out-rebounded by Tarleton 42-37, and to go to Josh Hawley, the freshman, he had 12 rebounds. He didn't score many points, but it's more of everyone gets fascinated with points. We all love seeing guys score 20, 30 points, but I'm just saying the length of this guy, that you've got him down in the post to contend with in a very important basketball game. And you can't forget about their guard, Corinthian Ramsey, who has been playing great for them all season. He scored 20 points in that game against UTPB on Thursday. But regardless, I'm saying that right now that Tarleton is a dangerous team, and they play Cameron, so I think that they will pull off that game with a win, and we will be seeing Tarleton in the second round on Saturday. And that would mean that if you go as planned, kind of with how the seeding is, and nothing ever turns out the way that the seeding is, and if you ever have made a bracket for March Madness, you know that. West Texas A&M, they will probably easily beat Eastern New Mexico. Eastern New Mexico's got 5 in them, but West Texas A&M is too good of a basketball team to get beat in the first round. They will be taking on the winner of Angelo State and Commerce, and Commerce played very well against the Falcons also. They beat West Texas A&M on Thursday, or that Thursday of last week. So at this point, you really can't count them out either for competing for the Lone Star Conference Championship. So it'd most likely be West Texas against Commerce. Winner of that game plays either UTPB Tarleton in the championship on Sunday. That game's going to be broadcasted live on ESPN3, and something that I find extremely great for the conference, and especially if UTPB gets there, it'll be great for the university to get some national exposure, and especially guys like Deshaun Francis and Sammy Allen and Josh Morris, James McPherson, and these guys that they've played great all season long. It would be cool to let a national audience get to see what they're capable of doing on the basketball court. It's just, I really hope that it's the team that we have seen over the course of most of this season instead of the course of the last 2 games. And Coach Newman this week at his press conference today, I say this week, but his press conference today basically alluded to the fact that, it's the end of the season. You get to a point where you're worn down, and it's March, and teams get hot in March too, and weird stuff happens. If you keep up with any college basketball, weird stuff happens in March. I get back to a point that I've been wanting to bring up, kind of with the comparison of last season's team with this season's team. And first of all, it's not fair to compare last season's team with this season's team, because it's unfair to the players from last season's team, that the seniors that have graduated and gone on and done their thing, and it's unfair to the players on this season's team because they weren't expected. They came into this season with such high expectations, and I also wasn't around last season to watch that team. So my perspective of this basketball team is what I've seen this season. And one of the biggest things that I think the team could work on is turning the ball over. I think they have all of the talent in the world, and they are great decision makers, especially on the fast break. And I mean, that's their offense is so electric, especially they get on these runs where, you get a steal by Sammy Allen and they throw it down court, throw it to Deshaun. Deshaun finds James, who's just waiting for the basketball, shoots a three, or Garrett. Garrett has been great shooting the ball from three this season. And, just watching that offense, it's so electric. But because they do get into these fast break opportunities so much because of the defense being as good as it is and forcing turnovers, there are more opportunities for turning the ball over. So there are a few careless mistakes made. And when I say they need to work on turnovers, I mean they do lead the conference in the most turnovers, but it's a lot of what I'm saying with that point is because they've had so many opportunities to turn the ball over. They come off steals, they rebound the ball better than anyone else in the conference, like I said. And I think that trying to get back to the point of comparing the teams, it's unfair, and you shouldn't do that. And I hope that this team isn't like last year's team, because last year's team got beat in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So if it meant not repeating as Lone Star Conference regular season champions, to see them win the Lone Star Conference tournament championship, or even if they don't do that and they make it further in the NCAA tournament, and ultimately, which the goal is to win a national championship, if they did that, then I mean that's the ultimate goal. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to have another Lone Star Conference championship, but it's really about the NCAA tournament. And this week, going into the Lone Star Conference tournament, this is an opportunity for the team to get any sort of rough edges, or smooth out the edges, so to speak. Get any rough spots out of the way, fix some things, and get ready for the NCAA tournament. And I think that's got to be. I'm sure that's what's going on, going through Coach Newman's mind. It's going through the players' mind. But these guys are also at this point in the year, they know what to do. I mean, they've played together for the last, or most of these guys have played together for the last 2 years. Deshaun and James have played together since they played basketball at Midland College. So, I mean, their entire college career, they've played basketball together. So, I mean, at this point, it's really just getting down to what is going to happen whenever the team gets ready to play in March. And I think that this weekend is the perfect opportunity to get them set for that. And I wish them more than nothing but the best against these Lone Star Conference teams. And Coach Newman has referred to the conference several times as the best in the nation. And I mean, if you look at just the competition, I mean, especially the top four seeds, and even Angelo State, who beat the Falcons, was their first loss in conference early this season. The top five is full of teams that are easily could probably compete against most of the other schools in other conferences across the country. And it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to watch some good basketball this weekend. But the main point being, like I say, is to get ready for the NCAA tournament, and that's what the Falcons will be able to do. And I think that going forward, if you look at the mindset of going 0-0, and I get this from obviously that's what every coach tells a player, but more recently I saw that Deshaun Francis, he's saying we're 0-0 now, and that's the mentality you want to see your lead player, the senior that has won all sorts of accolades for your program, the leader on your team. You want him coming out and saying something like that, and him making that well aware early in the week. It's getting things set on the right foot as far as going forward with the Lone Star Conference tournament this weekend. And we'll see how the Falcons do, and we will be there the entirety of the weekend. I'll be trying to get you as much information as possible about games that are going on, who the Falcons will be playing. If I've gone over it, but they'll either be playing Tarleton or Cameron if they win, and then winner of the Texas A&M West Texas or Texas A&M Commerce West Texas A&M game is more than likely what will be the championship game. So it is March. We'll see what happens. Anything can. There's teams that get hot and they want to make the tournament. There's seniors that this is the last time they're playing basketball, especially with our team. And this is the last time that they get to be in a conference tournament, and I'm sure it's hit all of them by now. And they've been talking about playing for March all season long, so I'm really excited to get to see them play against against teams that I know that they could beat easily, and that they have beaten. They've beaten every team in this conference this year, and I don't think that they should have a problem at a neutral site. It's just, coming off 2 losses. Hopefully they'll take that as we've got to adjust a few things, or whatever it was that the reason they lost those games so badly. But going forward, let's just they're 0-0, and let's see if they can show us why they were so highly regarded as one of the best teams in college basketball, and they are still one of the best teams in college basketball. I don't want to say that I'm steering away from that just because they lost these 2 games. It's but it's March, and it's the 0-0 thing. I keep saying that, but that's so important right now for the players to understand, and anything that they've done prior, we will remember it. They've had a great year, but going forward, it's really about what they're going to do in this conference championship, and more importantly, what they're going to do come March in the NCAA tournament. So, like I said, we'll be at the Lone Star Conference tournament. We'll try to get you as much information as we can throughout the weekend, press conferences, any sort of video or anything cool that's going on. My Falcon Radio will be on site at the Dr. Pepper Arena in Frisco to give you an up-to-date look at what's going on in the Lone Star Conference. So I guess that's just about everything with the men's basketball update. It went a little bit longer than I thought it would, but this is an important time for UTPB and the UTPB basketball program. So any information that I can share that you don't know, and most people that follow the basketball team, they know at this point kind of what the expectations are and what's going to. But anyone that I can help spread the awareness of the basketball program with, at this point, it's just good for them to get more support behind them, because this group of guys is they're something special. There's a lot of talent there, and just being around them for the few months that I have, I don't know these guys extremely well, but just seeing their personalities, talking to them after basketball games, they're good guys, genuinely, and some of the stories like Sammy's it's inspirational, and it's hard not to want to root for these guys. So I know I'm pulling for them. I hope that most of the UTPB will be watching the Lone Star Conference tournament this weekend. There will be a live stream on the website. I think that's everything. I think that I've covered everything. I know, like I said, it went a little bit too long, but good luck, UTPB. We'll be cheering you on. I know I'll be rooting you on this weekend from the Dr. Pepper Arena. And as the great We're on Burgundy said, you stay classy, UTPB.